Let's look at the controversy surrounding this bill. A bill in the Senate, of course, a bill seeking to establish the National Council of Traditional Rulers, and as we have it, the bill seeks to have the Oni of Ife and the Suntan of Sokoto as the co-chairman of the National Council of Traditional Rulers. But as we have this, Nigerians are already reacting. Ohaeneze and Igbo have vehemently rejected it. I'm going to be bringing you the position of Nigerians, what they are saying about it, and of course, what Ohaeneze is saying about it. And equally, I'll be bringing you the opinion of the Middle Belt Forum as we go forward into this conversation. Okay, before we go further, let me quickly bring you what Ohaeneze and Igbo is saying. Of course, I'm reading from Sahara Reporters. He said Ohaeneze and Igbo rejects Senate bill naming Oni Sultan as permanent co-chair of Traditional Rulers Council. You go for that to say that in a statement issued on Sunday in Enugu, the group described the bill as unjust, warning that it sidelines Apes traditional rulers from other ethnic nationalities and geopolitical zones across the country. So I think from what we are seeing, Nigerians are already reacting to this. I will bring you the reaction of Nigerians. But meanwhile, let me equally tell you that even the Middle Belt Forum have equally rejected some clause in that bill. And this one is coming from the Guardian. They say Middle Belt Forum rejects clause naming Sultan permanent co-chair of Traditional Rulers Council. You go for that to say that the Middle Belt Forum has strongly opposed a provision in the National Council for Traditional Rulers of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2004, that names the Suntan of Sokoto as permanent co-chairman of the proposed council. Okay, I'll be bringing you some reaction from Nigerians, but let me quickly say that this is not in any way to despise the office of the Suntan of Sokoto or rather the Oni of Ife. These are two traditional rulers or stools we hold in very high esteem, but we are saying that the issue of permanent chairmanship when you are talking about traditional rulers in Nigeria is unacceptable. And again, let me quickly say that that bill is not necessary. There's no need for that bill in the first place. But let me quickly bring you the reaction of Nigerians before we go further. This one is coming from K Money. He said, wow, since all the so-called leaders do is to look for new ways to further create problem for Nigerians. He said these so-called leaders seem to be happy creating disunity among Nigerians, naming Sultan and Oni as permanent co-chairpersons of traditional rulers and sidelining the leadership of Igbo is a great insult. I think you go further than that, but I think that is all we need from there. Then I'll be bringing you other ones. This one is coming from Matthias Chia. He's saying, what are your senators doing? Why this is happening? This entire bill is a distraction. Focus on ensuring we have the right leadership in Nigeria, not the current band of criminals parading themselves around. We shall be looking at other comments or other opinion of Nigerians. But meanwhile, let me quickly say that for me, this bill is unnecessary. Because one, this is in a way trying to make some people like a stooge or rather even a slave to others. Because before the white men came here and amalgamated everybody together under this entity called Nigeria, every person, every part of the country were living independently in their own way. So there was nothing that put the Igbos under the leadership of the Hausas or rather the Fulani or the Suntan of Sokoto. Nothing put the Igbos under the Oni of Ife. They were all independent in their own rights. So coming up with a bill that seeks to put the Igbos or any other ethnic minority under the chairmanship of another king, for me, it is not acceptable. It's unnecessary. That is why we're even talking about restructuring the country. Having a true restructured country, or rather going back to even our former regional system of government. Because that is what they have, and a region seeks to make a traditional ruler the permanent chair of the traditional rulers in the region, of course, if they are the same people from the same ethnicity, I don't think anybody will oppose it. But the situation where you have people of different background, people of different culture, people of different language, people who already have their own system of governance before the white man came here, and you are now having a bill that seeks to bring everybody together, and you are imposing the chairman on everybody. I must say that bill is not necessary. There is no basis for that bill from my own perspective. That is not to despise the office of the Onion of Ife or the office of the Suntan of Sokoto, but what we are saying is that people are from different parts of the country, different background, and they should be allowed to have their own king. And of course, making a bill and imposing leadership on everybody is unacceptable. I understand that the way it stands, the Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs have the Sultan of Sokoto as the permanent chairman of that body. That is because everybody under that organization accepts it. But making a bill that seeks to establish the National Council of Traditional Rulers, you are talking about all the country, every part of the country, and you are saying you are having permanent chairman coming from Sultan of Sokoto and Onion of Ife. I must say it is not well thought out. And again, just like the question somebody asked, that where are all the senators, particularly from the southern part of the country? So it beat all imagination, because actually, where are they? Because we understand that this bill already passed first as a reading, and it shall be referred to the relevant committee of the House. Meaning, by the time the committee reverts back to the General House, they will make a final decision on it at the plenary. So the question is, where are all the senators from the eastern part of the country? Where are senators from the other part, even the middle belt, where we now have middle belt forum, coming to say they are rejecting the clause that seeks to make the Sultan a co-chairman? So the question is, I don't understand the reason the middle belt forum is picking the Sultan of Sokoto, because they are from the northern divide part of the country. And as such, that if you are talking about chairman from the north, that the Sultan should not represent them. I think that is the brain behind they are speaking out the position of the Sultan of Sokoto as a co-chairman. But from the southeastern part of the country, from the Ohaeneze Igbo, they are vehemently opposing and rejecting it, because one, they are a different people. It is the British government that amalgamated everybody together under this entity called Nigeria. And that is not to say people have lost their identity. People still have their identity as Igbos. People still have their identity as the Yorubas. People still have their identity as the Hausas, the Fulani, and any other ethnic minority in Nigeria. I've been saying it over and over, that by providence, God created people differently. Because there is a natural unifying factor. Talking about people's language is a natural unifying factor that you do not determine, that is given to you by providence. So if God created the outside people with their distinct language, it means this is a particular distinct people created by providence by God. If God equally give Igbos their language, their system of doing things, it means these are special people created by God by providence to have this language. If God created the Yorubas by his own wisdom and gave them their own language, it means God in his wisdom created them a different people distinctly by God. However, if everybody wanted to come together under the entity called Nigeria, it should be through unanimous agreement. And if you are doing anything that wants to affect everybody, it should be through unanimous agreement. Because I do not see any reason why someone will be coming with such bill that seeks to cause controversy. Because there is nothing in that bill that says an Igbo man interest is represented. And we know that when you talk of Nigeria, you have three major ethnic groups, talking about the Hausa, the Igbos, and the Yoruba. And you are making a bill that seeks to reflect in the life of everybody in the country. I'm not even now talking about the ethnic minorities in Nigeria. I'm talking about the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. Because you cannot take that away. The Hausas, the Yorubas, and the Igbos are the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. However, there are other ethnic minorities. But how can you be making a bill that seek to affect everybody, and a region is being sidelined. And again, this brings us to issue of regional governance. This probably brings us to the issue of Aburi Accord. Because if we had allowed the Aburi Accord to sit through, if we had allowed the Nigeria to return to confederation, where every region have absolute control to a level in things affecting them, I don't think we'll come to the level where we are now having this controversy over a bill that seeks to make the Oni of Ife and the Suntan of Sokoto the co-chairman of National Council of Traditional Rulers. Because even all the problems we are seeking to solve currently, we already solved in the Aburi Accord. Talking about the state police. We understand that currently, Nigeria is ravaged by insecurity, occasioned by excess of Fulani militias, and in some cases, other crimes that are equally peculiar to different areas. But if we had allowed state police right from the beginning of his, right from that time of Aburi Accord, I believe that this issue would have been dealt with once and for all. Because in the Aburi Accord, it was already agreed that there should be decentralization of the police. And as if that is not enough, even the military was to be decentralized. So the way it is, the level of insecurity we are seeing would have been resolved. So for me, and even the confab of 14, talking about 2014 confab that drew members from different parts of the country, did not see the light of the day. And though a general government did not do enough to see whether they could push it through, but I'm of the view that even currently, even as Muhammad Buhari government did not give it attention, this government can equally take it from the shelf of the government, dust it, and give it the priority attention. Because the bottom line is, we must respect each other no matter how you look at it. Nobody should lord it over each other. Nobody should be a lord over another person. And that is why we even question the rationale behind how people are elected into representative positions. Because if people are truly representing the people and people actually came by way of voting, I want to believe that this issue would have been dealt with at the level of the Senate. Even if the number is not enough for those perhaps who come from the southern part of the country, those who come from the middle belt, even if the number is not enough to change the tide or to take a decision that will stop the bill, but Nigerians would have heard their voice, or rather their voices, in the Senate, at the level of the Senate, why they objected it. But nothing came to the public glare as to whether the senator from the southeast, the south-south, the middle belt, whether they in any way objected to that bill. If not for the fact that we are now seeing Ohaeneze, seeing the Middle Belt Forum objecting to it, and of course, the Middle Belt Forum is speaking whole with a clause that seeks to make the Suntan of Sokoto the co-chairman. So the point is, this brings us back to restructuring, decentralization of everything that will make Nigeria a stable nation. Because whether we like it or not, Nigerians are already divided in their minds. It is irrespective of the opinion of anyone. The Nigerians, or rather Nigeria, is only one on paper. In the mind of Nigerians, they're already polarized. Along ethnic lines, along ethnicity, along religious lines. We saw that play pivotal role in the 2023 presidential election. And if care is not taken, it's going to form part of what will shape the 2027 election. So the only way you can deal with these issues is to respect people for who they are. It is irrespective of whether they are minority or not. Of course, you cannot impose a king on people. This for me is another way of slavery. It's another way of colonization. Because you cannot say somebody who do not have, who their king is not known to be from another area, should not become their king by way of making the person the permanent chairman of National Council of Traditional Rulers. In the southern part of the country, we know we have a respected king, the Obi of Onitsha. There are other kings that may not be up to that status. So for purpose of unity, cohesion, if you are doing anything like this, you must encompass all the regions and all interests must be accommodated. Anything short of that is a recipe for crisis, and the government should resolve it adequately. Thank you very much. This is Mr. Watt.